WWE is definitely running short. The hourglass on Theodore Long's reign and time in the wrestling business, the number of years that he has left in the business are becoming limited. The amount of time that he has is definitely limited. And Vince McMahon said it to Eric Bischoff one time in 2003 when he was feuding with Stone Cold, and Stone Cold was making his return to WWE to announce his retirement after WrestleMania 19. He said that time is the most precious commodity and it's always expiring and running out. And I think that he's right. Time is definitely the most precious commodity, especially when it comes to a professional athlete. Examples of that: Stone Cold Steve Austin, Eric Bischoff. Time runs out. Not all good things are permanent. Good things have an end, and I think that Theodore Long's time in WWE was well spent, but it's running out. I definitely endorse him as the permanent general manager of both shows, just as I endorse John Laurinaitis. Whoever comes in on top will do a good job, and I think that it's been fun seeing both shows have different general managers and the roles being changed up. No doubt the permanent general manager position will be changed up with different people donning the roles, like we saw Kurt Angle be the general manager for a couple of months because of injury. Then we saw Vicky Guerrero become the general manager of SmackDown. Then we saw Paul Heyman. Then we've seen people on Raw like Mike Adamle go as far as to be the permanent general manager of the show, and William Regal be both the King of the Ring for 06 and the general manager of the show, becoming the most powerful entity in the WWE. We've seen a lot over the last 10 years, ever since this general manager idea was implemented by Vince McMahon to give Vince McMahon and the McMahon family a bit of a break from being on television. Even after the general manager position was brought in, we would still see an occasional McMahon come back on TV. We saw Shane McMahon come back after the general manager role came into fruition, and we'll probably will see another McMahon come on TV in time even after the general manager position has been named permanent on both shows. So a lot could happen, and a lot probably will happen, and I'm sure a lot of fans will enjoy what happens, and a lot of fans are not going to agree with it. That's the great thing about this. A lot of diversity can come from it, and I'm probably not even going to agree with it. I'll probably be blogging about it for months to come after this thing is definite, and I probably won't agree with it more than I will agree with it. So, a lot can happen. A lot of people are going to agree with it, a lot of people are going to love it, a lot of people aren't going to agree with it, and we'll see what happens in due time. I'm Jonathan Clarke. You've been listening to HEW Entertainment Variety Radio's look at the potentiality of having one general manager on both shows, one champion, the show is becoming one again, and definitely a lot can happen from all of this, and we'll see what happens after WrestleMania 28's results have been posted throughout the internet, on Twitter, on the official website of WWE, and is talked about for years to come. The general manager position has been a window of opportunity, has been the reason for a lot of controversy. More controversy has come from the general manager position than we've seen from Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart's feud that began back in 1993. I think a lot can happen from this, and a lot probably will. More controversy and a lot of negative things, if anything, will come from this. More negative things, if good things, will arise from the unification of the general manager role. I think that the possibility of seeing one champion is higher than it's ever been. The possibility of both brands becoming one show has been higher than it's ever been. And the elimination of the bragging rights pay-per-view, the competition between the brands, the video game title being changed from Raw vs. SmackDown to WWE 12 are signs of potentially what could happen, and probably will happen. I'm not saying it's a good thing, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing in that same light, but it's something that's been being demanded by the WWE Universe, as they're being called now, the term that's been put on the WWE fan. But it's something that's being demanded, and the good thing is WWE are listening after years of ignoring its fans on the internet, because you were just looked at as nothing but a bunch of geeks. And the terminology of geek is something that's been used on WWE television a lot, especially when it comes to the internet fans. So I think that you're finally being listened to after years of demanding one champion, one general manager, and one show. You're getting it, because eventually what's going to happen is Raw and SmackDown are just going to be called Super Show, and it's what it's being called now, but we still have both brands and tours and the potentiality of having split-branded pay-per-views down the road still up in the air. So a lot can happen, a lot probably will happen, and this idea is being looked at as an excellent idea because it's still novel. Once the novelty runs out, you don't have much to rely on when it comes to the general manager position. But as I said, we'll still see what happens. It still remains to be seen. It's a good idea, and a lot can come from it. A lot of roads, a lot of forks in the roads have developed from this. And a lot of question is still left in the mind of a lot of wrestling fans. I don't know who the general manager is going to be. I'm just saying it could potentially be Laurinaitis because of the controversy. It was Eric Bischoff because of the controversy, so why can't it be Laurinaitis? They're doing something where they're changing up the general managers leading in to WrestleMania. Theodore Long's taking a turn running Raw this week. Laurinaitis will do the same for SmackDown, and they'll change it up leading into WrestleMania, especially in the final few weeks. So a lot could happen, a lot probably will happen, and I'm excited to find out what's going to be happening, because it's WrestleMania season. We've already got Triple H versus The Undertaker Part 2, something I wrote about for In This Corner with Jonathan Clarke. The general manager role is something I've written about before in This Corner with Jonathan Clarke. The Rock and John Cena is something I've written about for In This Corner with Jonathan Clarke. We've got a great show coming for WrestleMania 28, one of the best WrestleMania cards I've seen since WrestleMania 2007. So a lot can happen, and a lot probably will happen. A lot's happened over the last 28 years when it comes to an event like WrestleMania. A lot of diversity, a lot of controversy since 1990 has come from WrestleMania. I remember WrestleMania 1 creating a lot of controversy. Nobody could believe that Mr. T was teaming up with Hulk Hogan to face Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper. A lot has happened since WrestleMania, and it's one of the best WrestleMania cards since WrestleMania 25. We'll just have to wait and see what happens at WrestleMania 28 and what kind of storylines are created from it. There's bound to be a lot of controversy. There's bound to be a lot of unhappy people, like there were at the end of WrestleMania 27 last year. A lot of people thought we were going to see this epic confrontation between Cena and The Rock. We didn't get it. The Miz was the biggest star of that show because he won. And he created more headlines than The Rock and John Cena did after WrestleMania 27. WrestleMania 28 could turn out to disappoint a lot of people who will sacrifice over $80 in tax to see the show, because you're hoping to see a lot from The Undertaker and Triple H's Hell in a Cell match. You're hoping to see a lot from Cena and Rock's confrontation. You're hoping to see a lot from the best in the world colliding with the best in the world. And you probably won't even get what you're paying for, like you do in a lot of cases. You didn't get it with the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and you mightn't get it with the WrestleMania show this year. But it's one of the best WrestleMania cards, and having Theodore Long and John Laurinaitis feud on the show adds a lot of excitement to the show, because a lot can come from this angle being finished and having a stamp of finality being put on it at WrestleMania. I'm enjoying seeing everything leading into WrestleMania, even Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, and Randy Orton feuding over the world title. I'm enjoying seeing the AJ Daniel Bryan angle. I'm enjoying seeing the Triple H angle with The Undertaker. I'm enjoying seeing CM Punk and Chris Jericho on Raw with their angle over the WWE title. It gives the champion something to do. It gives the general manager something to do. So it has the potential of going down in history as being remembered as one of the greatest WrestleManias since WrestleMania 25. So we're going to see what happens. We're probably going to enjoy it. We're probably going to disagree with what happens. A lot of controversy is going to arise from the main event, if anything, and the general manager angle just adds fuel to the fire. So it's really, really cool. A lot of controversy, a lot of diversity developing, and a lot can come from it. Tell me what you think on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and I will see you next week.
When something takes place in the world of professional wrestling, you know where to go. WrestleZone.com. WrestleZone.com. Covering all the latest breaking news daily. Interactive forums where you can chat with thousands of other wrestling fans. Exclusive editorials and audio features by some of today's top wrestling superstars. Exclusive video content, weekly polls, live play-by-play coverage of every WWE and TNA pay-per-view. And now, featuring WrestleZone Radio. Live with news, in-depth discussions, debates, and interviews with wrestling's top stars, past and present. When you think wrestling, think WrestleZone. WrestleZone.com.
He considers himself God's gift to wrestling, and millions of his faithful agree. With nearly 4 hours of footage and exclusive commentary and matches, this DVD chronicles Daniels' rise from Chicago's Windy City Wrestling to the Asylum in Nashville, and finally to the top of TNA. TNA Home Video presents Heaven Sent, Hell Bound, the best of Christopher Daniels. Available at most retailers and TNAWrestling.com.
Hey, you right there, the one listening to this show. While you're tuning into this broadcast or when you read the news on WrestleZone.com, are you forming opinions of it all? Or do you just agree with everything you see and hear? If you actually have some sort of afterthought, which, by the way, is normal, we want to know what it is. There are thousands of wrestling fans just like you that simply can't hold their thoughts in either, and they let it all out in our interactive forums. You have a voice, so use it. Simply visit forums.WrestleZone.com. Don't just be active, be reactive in the official WrestleZone.com forums. For all the latest in mixed martial arts, be sure to visit WrestleZone's sister site, SureDog.com. Complete with daily news, exclusive video, interviews, live radio broadcast, interactive forums, and the very popular Fight Finder with bios and complete match-by-match histories of your favorite fighters. SureDog is the only place you need when it comes to mixed martial arts. Visit SureDog.com today.
Hi, my name's Adam Nudelman, but I play the Phantom on the radio. I'm here to remind you that, screw that, my book, Mysteries of Wrestling Solved, is available at finer bookstores everywhere. That stupid fake voice, I hate it.